Hi guys, how are you? It's Alicia. Getting a water. Gotta be hydrated. We're gonna start shortly. Don't you worry. Still getting things set up. We are making pho, vegan pho, and it's actually a Vietnamese noodle soup. So we'll hang tight for a few more seconds and then we'll get started. Can't wait. Yay. All right. Actually. So while we are waiting, I'm actually going to chop up our seaweed because I didn't get a chance to do that. I chopped up everything else except this, obviously. So we'll do that now. And once we get that chopped up, then we can get going. So, let's see, how do we open this? Oh, I'm opening it the wrong way. Take a few sheets of this. Technically, the seaweed we're supposed to use tonight is called kombu with this, but I couldn't find kombu in the stores here in New York. But if you have kombu, you can definitely use that with your pho when you make it. So, like I said, we're just getting started, and I want to let you guys know. So, I'm just gonna coarsely chop up. So it's basically like sheets of seaweed, right? Kind of tough to chop, actually. What I might do is just tear them. Let's see if we can tear. Oh, so if you get the sheets of seaweed, I'll show you what they look like here. And I don't think it has to be any type of like particular like format, or not format, but way that you actually have these all broken up, because they're going to go into the broth that we're making for the pho, guys. So I've kind of broken them up enough. I think that should be sufficient. Okay. So, hi, hello. Oh my gosh, this is my first time trying pho. I normally eat ramen, which is a Japanese meal, but tonight I was like, let's try this Vietnamese pho because I love brothy type of soups that have noodles. So I was like, let's do it. So so for you guys to know, like the actual ingredients that we're using tonight, I'm actually going to boil these noodles, and these are noodles that I found at a store. If you live here in New York, the store is called, what's the name of the store, babe? Food Bazaar. Or you probably can go somewhere like H Mart or something like that, and they probably have this type of noodles. These are called rice sticks. It's the medium sized rice sticks. So that's what we're using tonight. I did purchase this pre-packaged noodle situation, and I saw the noodles, and I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that to my friends. I refuse. So I'm gonna show you what these pre-packaged noodles look like. I don't know if you can see that up close, but yeah, I was like, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. And so we're gonna boil the noodles. I have the water already going. So like I said, we're starting out. We're gonna start boiling our noodles. Not right now, but because the noodles. Let's see what the time frame. It only takes like 8 minutes for them to actually boil. So we'll wait until like right before everything is all said and done before we do that. Everything that's going inside the broth. Let's talk about that. So some of the ingredients that are required with the broth. I don't have everything, but what I have basically what these dried shiitake mushrooms. I don't know if you can see that here, but they're dried shiitake mushrooms. They're going to go in the broth. Celery and carrots that I have chopped up here. And the ingredients I'll share in the group tomorrow. Some ginger here. We have some coriander seeds. We're going to put in 2 cinnamon sticks. Onions. I love my red onions. And that's going to be basically the base of the broth, and along with the seaweed. So what I bought was I bought roasted sushi nori seaweed. If you can get the combo, I say go for it. But like I said, for me, I couldn't find it, so I had to go with the next best thing. Kombu is another version of seaweed, so I figured, let's just go with what we got because it's all seaweed, and we'll see how it turns out, right? So let's get our broth going. The first thing we need to do is actually, I'm going to change up here in the action. Hey, I'm going to change up a few of my pots and move some of them around. The water back there is boiling for the noodles. And I started the noodles because I wasn't really sure. Turn them down just a little bit, that water. Turn it down low. So I wasn't really sure how long it would take for the boiling process or how long the noodles would take, rather. But we just found out it won't take long. So what I'm going to do is we're going to start here in this pot. I don't know if you guys can see me over there, but we're going to start in this pot. We're going to get going with the broth. And I forgot to mention, so let's go ahead and turn this on and let this get hot. The oil that I'm using tonight, if you can see it here in the action. Which way am I going here? We're going to use a little grapeseed oil tonight. I'm a grapeseed oil kind of person, so I'm going to add in a little bit of grapeseed oil. The actual recipe that you'll see, it calls for vegetable oil. I'm not a vegetable oil person, so, but for those that want to go, directly, blow by blow with what the recipe calls for, I say go for it. But I'm using vegetable oil tonight. So we're going to let that get a little hot, okay? Other ingredients that we'll be actually sauteing, I want to let you guys know about. So we have some bok choy, as well as some shiitake mushrooms, and we have oyster mushrooms here at the bottom that have been cut up as well. So I'm going to saute those up very quick, not for a long time, because I want to still have like that fresh flavor. But it's going to have, I'm going to add some seasoning to it just so it has like some nice texture too. Pho also in the actual broth, you can put miso. They call for a white miso. I didn't buy a white miso because it was such a big container. If you want to have it, and then maybe if you use miso a lot, then go for it, right? But I'm just going to use my handy dandy little pho packets that came with the prepackaged noodles I was telling y'all about, because it's basically white miso. So I'm going to use this in place of me buying a huge container of white miso, and then we'll add the other ingredients that I shared earlier, and we'll make our broth. So let's see what's happening over in this pan, or pot rather. It feels pretty hot. We're going to start just adding in all of our fun stuff. Okay, there we go. Cool. So we're adding in the onions. We're adding in, ooh, hello, tiger. Adding in our carrots and our celery. Ooh, hello. I'm beating up everything here, y'all. I'm going to mix that around a little bit. We're going to go ahead and add in our ginger. Okay. And everything is, it didn't require any like fine chopping or anything like that. So don't worry about the chopping being perfect. We're going to add in a little bit of the coriander seeds. I'm just adding in, it looks like it's about maybe 12 or 10 or 12 of them here. I don't know if you can see that, but that's what I'm doing here. Oh, there we go. You can see that. So I'll throw those right in there. We're going to add in a few cloves. So the recipe calls for 4. And I'm just going to add in that there. Ooh, wee. Fire's no joke. I really think guys, legit just burned my arm here. That's what just happened. Okay. So we're going to mix that in here. Awesome. I don't know if you can see me here, but there we are. Actually, lift this up just a bit, just so you can really get an idea of what's going on here. Perfect. It was a little too low. See, I'm short, but I'm not that short. All right. And so we added in that. Y'all, I can't believe I just burned my arm here. What the hell? Of course, gotta add in my everyday seasoning from Trader Joe's, because that's just how I roll. Obviously, the recipe doesn't call for that, but if you want to add in a little razzle, add in something else that you like in your food. Okay. Also, the recipe calls for cinnamon sticks. So we're going to add in, it says 2 cinnamon sticks. We're going to throw that right in there as well. And it also calls for coarse sea salt, but I have pink Himalayan salt. Basically, you know, or it also asks, suggests any other salt. Pink Himalayan is my favorite. It's not, not processed like traditional table salt. But if you want to use the kosher, go right ahead. Okay, and then we're going to finish it off with our garlic. And this stuff smells amazing, y'all. And just mix all that in. Smells so good. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and add in the seaweed that we just broke apart. Let me try and break it apart some more. This seems like it's a lot of big pieces. But by the time it cooks down, I can't imagine it really being too wild here. Yep, as I suspected. So as I cook it down, and what I might do is add in a little bit more seaweed. So what am I going to do with those sheets? Okay. So I added in a few sheets, but I think I'm going to add in a little more because it cooks down pretty well. Like I said, if you find the kombu where you are, go for it. But I need this opportunity to do that. Break up some more of this seaweed. Turn this down to like medium heat. All right, I'm gonna add in more of that just to make it fun. Cool. Awesome. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add in my miso, my white miso. By way of these packets here. You see how, oh, perfect. There's the area right there. So just gonna add this right on in. Okay. And this as well. Now this actual dish, now people are probably thinking, okay, it looks like a lot of prep. It was a lot of prep, I'm not gonna lie. So this meal, you have to really be prepared to do a lot of shopping and all that. But I think once the prep is done, the actual putting everything together is not too difficult. You know what I'm saying? It's just basically prepping. So this type of meal, you want to at least give yourself like 30, 45 minutes just to prep. That's not even just to cook, okay? So we've added in all that fun stuff. I'm going to add in some of my my Bragg's amino acids. I don't know if you can see that there. So I'm adding in the Bragg's aminos now into the pot, okay? And then what I'm going to do, the actual recipe calls for, I think it's like 8 cups of water, but I'm going to wing it because that's what I do. But yeah, definitely follow the recipe that I share on the group tomorrow if you really want to have an accurate measurement. So we're just adding that in, okay, and then add a little bit more water. So I am a soup person. Like anyone who knows me knows I can eat soup every single day. Seriously. But my family, they don't want to eat soup every single day. So I have to pick and choose when I can have my soup. You know what I'm saying? All right, so I think that is going to do it here. All right, so we'll let that do its thing. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to shift this pot to the back and let it live its best life on the eye in the back. Actually, that's hot. Hello, Alicia. Let's do this. You know, it's crazy. And I touch that pot, I think about, for those who don't know, I was diagnosed with MS in 2010. And this hand, I couldn't feel like hot or cold. I really couldn't feel period. And since me changing my diet, things like my sensation have come back. And so it's amazing what food can do for you. Um, so yeah, there's that spiel. But yeah, it was just weird. It's like, oh, I actually felt that heat. That's so weird. So that was really cool. Let me figure this out. Actually, let me rearrange this. Talk amongst yourselves because I'm realizing how big this is. And let's do one of these numbers. So let's let's turn this off. And we'll do a little musical chairs. So we'll, oh wow. Please don't try this at home. Promise you. Do not do this. All right, so let's do that. Actually, let's not do that. This is the thing about having big pots and a little stove, you know? Hello. Okay, let's do that. Okay, great. Now let's bring this over here to this side. This pot is so big, but it offers so much in terms of like you can put so much in it, so it's like you can't really complain about it, you know? All right, now we're cooking. Literally. Okay, cool. So now we'll put this pan back here, and we'll get actually ourselves in a place of preparing. Actually, let's turn this off because you know what we need to do? We actually need to season our tofu. So I didn't show you guys this. So the tofu that I'm using tonight, it's a pre-seasoned tofu. It was a teriyaki tofu. Actually, let me show you the container of the tofu. The tofu that I'm using tonight, the little juice is kind of, I didn't get it all out there. The tofu that I'm using tonight is called, it's by Wildwood, and it's baked tofu. It's a teriyaki version. That's what I'm using this evening. And but I'm still going to add in a little bit more like seasonings, but you know, it's a very light type of teriyaki flavor. But you can use a plain tofu as well. For those who have never really worked with tofu, I would encourage you, especially if it's, you know, in the water, I would encourage you to make sure you like basically pressed it as much as you can, get as much of that water out, and then do your prep because it takes longer to actually toast in the oven because of all the water. So if you can get as much water out of it as possible, that'll be helpful. All right. So all that to say, we're just going to add a little bit of grapeseed oil to our tofu. Oh, you know what we forgot to add, guys? Hello. The dried shiitake mushrooms. Let's add in our dried shiitake mushrooms to the broth. Okay, completely forgot about that, y'all. So let's put this here. And we're just going to add in the mushrooms. And they go in the broth here. I'm going to add all those. I think that's enough. The recipe actually asks for a cup of dried shiitake mushrooms. I love mushrooms, but you know what? Maybe we'll just add them all in. Let's just see how it all pans out. I'm a mushroom person, so let's do it, right? My daughter, she's not into mushrooms like that, but I love mushrooms. My wife, she likes mushrooms for the most part. I think, if anything, we'll eat the mushrooms. And I might just add in a little bit more broth. The thing about making broths is that you can kind of like go by taste. So if it's not as flavorful, you can add more of something, take away something. I mean, soups for the most part, I shouldn't say always, but for me, you just can't really, well, I guess you can mess it up depending on the situation. But for the most part, if you can continue to taste it as you're going along, that's super helpful. I'll say that at least. All right, so we added in our dried shiitake mushrooms to that. Cool. We'll just let that continue doing its thing. Awesome. Now we're back here. Let me move this over here. Two of our noodles over here. We got so many things. So many things. Okay. Put the oil back here. All right. So now, back to our tofu. I'm just going to add in, like I said, the oil. And then we're going to add in a little bit more seasoning. Not a ton. I'm going to add in some, a little bit of oil. I'm going to add a little bit of the Bragg's to it, the amino acids, and splash it very light because the amino acids, it's basically like a soy sauce, right? It's salty like soy sauce. And so this actual, we'll use the same spoon. This actual recipe calls for soy sauce, but I like Bragg's. It does the job for me. And literally that's all I'm adding to this. Like the Bragg's and the oil. And then we're going to add this to a cookie sheet. Okay. Before I make a major mess here. Cookie sheet here. I'm going to put on, it's like a non-stick kind of cover on here. And then I'm going to spread out, I don't know if you can see it over here, but I'm just spreading out the tofu on the cookie sheet. And then you want to make sure, based on however many people in your family, you just want to be mindful of if you need more tofu or not. It's only 3 of us, so this is enough tofu for us. So we're gonna I'm actually gonna put this in. Let me move the action camera back so I can get to the stove. And we're gonna let that go into the stove. And I'm gonna watch it here, but it should start toasting. I have the actual oven set at 400. So I'll be watching it here and there just to make sure that, I can turn it and then it's getting crispy. All right. So we got our tofu in the oven. We're ready to rock. So now, back to what I was telling y'all about before. Let's turn on this actual front eye where this actual skillet is, and we're going to saute our bok choy, our shiitake mushrooms, and our oyster mushrooms. I love oyster mushrooms. I like shiitake mushrooms too, but I like oyster mushrooms because there's so many different things you can do with oyster mushrooms. That's for a whole other conversation. But one thing I will say, we had some oyster mushrooms that were fried like fried chicken. Fire. So there's so many different things that you can do with mushrooms in terms of like your plant-based eating. They have a meaty substance and you can replace it and create so many different things with mushrooms. So I encourage you guys to just find different recipes that contain mushrooms or try out different mushroom dishes or replace them for different things that you've had in the past and see how it tastes and how it can actually adapt. You can adapt to just eating more mushroom things as opposed to whatever meat that you eat on a daily basis. I'm not saying you need to go completely plant-based, but it's something to try, All right, so let's put in some oil in this pot, or this skillet rather. Let that get a little hot. Oh, hello. All right. And basically, for this, I'm going to add a little bit of the Bragg's again. Actually, what I'm going to do is, I didn't think this through, guys. Work with me. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to remove all of our bok choy. Let's turn this off for a second. Because I was thinking that I was going to saute these, pre-seasoned, but I didn't do that because I was rushing. So let's go ahead and let's season our mushrooms. We're going to still add in some of our grapeseed oil to the mushrooms. Just a little bit, not a ton. Okay? I'm going to add just a teeny bit of the Bragg's. And I'm going to also add in the everyday seasoning from Trader Joe's. I am running low on my Trader Joe's everyday seasoning. This is a tragedy. I'm telling you. And then also, we're we're going to add is some garlic powder. So let me get, this is just from Trader Joe's, their garlic powder. We're going to add a little bit of garlic powder just to give the mushrooms some zest here. I'm just going to mix that up, okay? All right, so we're getting all those mixed in. If you've never seen an oyster mushroom, this is not a good example because they're chopped up, but they have like a big, almost like an umbrella looking top, and they have a pretty thick stem. But I've cut these already, so it doesn't really do it justice. Oh, you're joining late. So we're making Vietnamese pho. So it's a Vietnamese noodle soup, which I love, and I hope you can make it. And I actually share the recipe in the group, the Eating Me group after this. So if you're not a part of the Eating Me group, guys, go ahead and join the group. Seriously. So what I'm going to do to make this actually make sense is I'm going to saute the bok choy here. And like I say, guys, this actual dish, now looking at it, so we'll just, because this was already hot, we're just going to put them in here. So I basically cut these baby bok choy in half, right? And we're just going to saute them. No seasoning or anything. We're going to saute them here in this skillet. Okay? Awesome, awesome. While that's doing its thing, let's take a look at our broth. Let's turn this way because I can see myself doing some stuff. All right, our broth is looking good. It's smelling good too, actually. Oh my goodness, these mushrooms. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me see. Actually, let's put this over here. I don't know if you can see that, but oh, hello. I just hit something there. If you can see that there, hopefully you can. It's looking pretty good there, guys. We're gonna let that keep doing its thing. Yay! Awesome. That's good. We're good there. All right, so let's see here. Okay, great. We just want to kind of give them a little bit of charring on each side, because what's going to happen is, it also depends on what you want to do, right? Everybody's different. So we're just going to char them on each side. I'm going to eventually throw these into the faux broth, right? We're not going to do it right now because I don't want it to be completely wilted, but I did want to char these a bit on each side. So let me get a fun plate. And I'm just going to place the actual, yeah, hello. Full disclosure, we don't use like actual like plates all the time, so yeah, kind of hilarious. We're paper platers. I just don't have a lot of time to be like dealing with dishes. First of all, so we've done enough with in terms of like letting these kind of char. So I'm gonna remove these and I add the other ones here. And then after this, we'll add in our mushrooms. So let these char now. But yeah, we're not big regular plate people. One, because I hate washing dishes. And two, it's just like we're always on the go. So it's just like, oh my gosh, just make things as simple as possible. Let's turn that down, the broth a bit. All right, and we'll let those char. And they actually look really good. Let me show you guys one of these. Move this way now. I'm gonna add a little bit more oil to this just so. If you want to add the oil before you put the bok choy, it's up to you. Everybody's different. Let me show you. Looks really, really good. I'm actually kind of excited about this. So you can see that. There's some bok choy there. There's been char it a bit. And then we will add our mushrooms once these are done. Like I was saying before, I love ramen. I love soup. I love all this, anything that's like kind of a nice broth and some noodles. And I always eat ramen. So I was like, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I've made ramen for you guys on here before. But I thought, let's try something different. Let's change it up. And I think we're winning on that. All right, so these look like they are done as well. Cool. Now we're going to add into a little bit more oil, and we're going to, ooh, that's really steamy. We're going to, or smoky rather, we're going to add in our mushrooms. And like I said before, I don't want anything to be overcooked, but I do want to get them, cooked as much as possible. And some of the pieces of the bok choy got in there, we'll get those out. Awesome. And eventually all this is going to go into the bowl raw. I want to make sure the tofu is done. And also tofu is done, as well as make sure that our noodles are, underway. I don't want that to be an issue. Yes, ramen is the bomb. I love ramen. Like, literally to eat ramen all the time. It's so tasty. All right. So the mushrooms are looking really good. I'm really excited about that. Hello. Let's put this over here. We have a little more room. This is nice and sweet. Space here. Space. Yellow. Okay. And I started the water again here in the back. I just mushroom smell so good. All right, and I think we're done with that. Like I said, I didn't want to overcook anything really, so I'm gonna get another plate for our mushrooms and let them sit here. Awesome. And we're done with our mushrooms. They look actually super duper tasty. Thank God for the dishwasher. Like, shout out to the dishwasher. Like, really. Here. Did we lose the action? Oh, there we are. We're back. I thought we lost it there. I think we're back. Let's check on our tofu down here. Hold on a second, guys. Hey, do you want to see America's just calling? I don't know if you call her. Yeah, my daughter's calling. And I gotta make sure she's good. All right, let's check here on tofu. All right, so things are looking pretty good in here. I'm just gonna flip things over just a bit. Okay. Kind of mix it up. I wish you guys could see it, but the tofu's looking really good. Let's mix it over. Flip it, flip it, flip it. Okay, cool. And we'll let that go back in. Awesome. All right, so guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually start assembling or actually putting in our noodles in the pot. And let's see, this seems like a lot of noodles, guys. I don't know if I want to use all of these. I might have to save some of be for another time. This just seems like a lot, right? Let me get a knife. But this actually might work for your family. But with 3 people, I can't imagine this really being. This is probably going to be like overkill. You know what I'm saying? All right. So what I'm going to do is do what I did the last time. I'm going to pull this to the front. Turn this down. Our water's going. And oh, so it's actually, the noodles are actually, I believe they're split in 2 different sections here, so it looks like. So let's see. Uh-oh. Having the time here, guys. All right, so let's regroup. Let's regroup. Okay, so let's see. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add the noodles into the water. Another thing that you need to know about Alicia, for some reason, Noodles and I just, can be a challenge with me. I'll just say that. Sometimes I just have a little challenge with the noodles. All right, so we got that going. Actually, a piece of bok choy. Let that go. All right, awesome. And I'll just place these other noodles back in the bag as best as I can. Whoa. They're dangerous, guys. These noodles are dangerous. You can't believe. All right. I'm gonna let the noodles boil. Actually, let's put this over here. Okay. The noodles are doing their thing. They're gonna be boiling for a few minutes. And I think I said the noodle packet actually said for this particular package up to 8 minutes. So we can. Now, can you hear me? Type of 1 if you can hear me in the thing. Can you hear me now? No one's responding. Can you? Oh, great. Okay, good. I'm glad you can hear me. Okay, good. So, like I said, I was saying, I think you probably didn't hear me, but things we're going to add later into the ramen once everything is done is this is fresh basil. Okay. We're going to add in some actual scallions here. Scallions? I don't know why I just said that like that. And also some bean sprouts. It also calls for fresh limes. So I'm going to cut a few limes and put them in each person's actual noodles, once it's all complete. So we'll cut this up at that time. All right. Cool. Awesome. And these noodles, they look done to me. I could be wrong, but they look quite done. So I'm going to take them out. I mean, you do it based on what you want to do, but this looks good to me in terms of the noodles that I normally like, the consistency and everything. So I'm just going to go ahead and excuse me, and drain my noodles here. Over here, I don't think you can see it, but I'm going to strain it over here. I'm going to drain my noodles, And then I'll eventually set them to the side. Now, for those who've never had like ramen or anything like that, you generally don't add your noodles until you're ready to eat, right? So I'm gonna cool them off a bit so I'm gonna stop cooking basically. So I'm gonna let them sit over here and just chillax and do their thing. All right, these glasses keep falling down. All right, cool. So let's check again on our tofu. Because basically now everything's ready to go. Like I said, because there's so much prep to this actual thing, it takes so much time to put all the pieces together, right? But once you get all the prep done, it's basically go time. I'm gonna let these cook a little bit longer, all right? But what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna start assembling, like adding in all the things that go into the broth, which are the mushrooms, the bok choy, and the basil. Everything else will be like toppers, okay? So we're gonna do what we did before. We're gonna create some magic here. Put that here. Let's turn that off here. Okay, cool. I'm not trying to burn myself. For those that missed it, I literally burned my arm earlier. Craziness. Well, not my arm. I burned the hair on my arm. Crazy. All right, so we'll turn this eye on. Make sure it's in the middle. This smells so good. I don't know if you guys, can you guys see that? Let's see. I don't know if you can see the broth, but it's looking pretty good there. I'm loving my camera skills, my cooking skills. I mean, so many things. All right. So now we're going to add in our other mushrooms. Add those in. Y'all, this smells so good. I'm not even joking. Right? And I think honestly, like a lot of dishes, especially like ramen, not ramen, but like this pho, yeah, ramen and things like this. The mushrooms make it for me. Like literally. Mushrooms are just like amazing. So we're adding in our bok choy to the pho broth. What's funny is I bought another thing of bok choy because I was afraid I didn't have enough. And I'm like, girl, we have enough bok choy to last a lifetime. All right, so we're just going to let that kind of cook in. And like I said, we're basically done. Actually, let me show you what this looks like. Oh, that was a timer for the noodles. Clearly, I didn't follow that. All right, so there is the finished product of the pho and the broth. Yo, this looks so good. I'm really excited to try this. And I'm excited for you guys to try this as well when you get the opportunity to make it. Like I said, excuse me, like I said, it's a lot of prep. I'm not gonna lie to you. But it is worth making, especially if you want to try something new with your family and shock them that you have all these skills, you know? So, like I always do, I will share this recipe with you guys. Come over here. I'll share the recipe with you guys tomorrow. I'm glad. Oh, yay. It looks awesome, right? So I'll share this recipe with you guys tomorrow. My family's hungry. They look at me like I'm crazy. I will, actually, let's pull out the tofu before so I can show you what that looks like. And like I said, I'll share this recipe with you guys tomorrow. I'll send pics. If you are part of the Eating Me group, you'll see pictures of the actual pho assembled tonight. So I will show you what it looks like right before we chow down. I love you guys. And if you didn't listen to today's Card Confessions on the Eating Me podcast, check it out because yesterday was my birthday, and I talk about how I celebrated my birthday yesterday and just had a good time enjoying myself. Because a lot of times I don't take off work, so I took off work. I'm basically spoiling it. Listen to this week's episode of Car Confessions and Monday's episode where I interviewed Lex Luco. She is a former bodybuilder, and she talks about how her eating practices were completely just all over the place, and she was actually competing as a bodybuilder. Amazing, amazing conversation. If you haven't subscribed to the Evening Podcast, definitely subscribe, share, like, all the fun things. Um, it's pretty awesome information out there. So definitely tune into the Eating Podcast. Like I said, I'll share all the information about this Vietnamese vegan pho that we just made tonight. I love you guys, and I'll see y'all in 2 weeks. So not this coming Thursday, but the next Thursday, we will be back with more plant-based cooking. If there's something that you're really interested in, seriously, that you want to see me cook, share that in the Eating Me group. Send me a message on Messenger, wherever you are in contact with me, and I will try it out. All right, guys, I love you, and like I said, stay tuned for the faux pictures. Give it about an hour or so, maybe a little bit before. We'll be eating our food, probably before that, because what time is it? It is 6:46 in New York City. We'll be eating before that. All right, I love you guys, and I will check you later. Bye.